Stepping out of the crack, Xiao Yan looked around, and under his feet, his heart full of surprise. There is a cloud layer around, but there is no land under your feet, but the spectacular scene around you really makes people feel a lot more relaxed. Looking at the surrounding environment, Xiao Yan seemed to have entered a strange realm, and his body and mind were particularly comfortable. Xiao Long cut open pieces of clouds, and a floating city was suspended in the sky. Xiao Yan was shocked that the power of his soul had not been detected in such a big city. "Let's go," Xiao Long reminded Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan followed Xiao Long and flew forward. The buildings along the way were all gorgeous and towering. Even the inlays were some materials and spars that Xiao Yan had never seen before. It seems that the Xiao family in the Duty Continent is very prosperous. Xiao Long introduced these different buildings to Xiao Yan, including the auction hall, the fighting skills hall, the school hall, and various halls, which dazzled Xiao Yan a little. And the most magnificent building in the center of the city is naturally the main hall of the Xiao clan. Entering the hall, people came and went in an endless stream, and there was prosperity. Xiao Yan could feel that there was a trace of blood between him and everyone. Many ethnic groups looked at Xiao Yan, who was following Xiao Long, and cast strange glances one after another. For Xiao Yan, a new ethnic group, many people were extremely curious. It is said that there is no longer the source of the emperor on the vindictive continent, and they did not expect that the fighting emperor would be born. They were all puzzled, but Xiao Long was in front, and no one dared to ask. I had to guess secretly. Xiao Yan also felt these strange glances. In desperation, he had to smile bitterly and waved his head, ignoring the strange glances around him, and followed Xiao Long to the hall in the center of the building. After passing through a few paths, we reached the hall in the center of the building. Of course, this is also the most important place for the Xiao clan. As soon as he walked into the hall, several powerful breaths came to his face, and Xiao Yan's spirit couldn't help but tremble. Even the Ming Emperor could not match these breaths. There were several old people sitting in the middle of the hall. Xiao Yan looked around for a week, then saluted and said respectfully, "Xiao Yan pays homage to your ancestors." Several old people looked at Xiao Yan. The old man sitting in the middle smiled, waved his robe, and said, "Don't be polite, sit down." The old man's name is Xiao Li. He is a veteran elder of the Xiao clan, but he is not the ancestor of the Xiao clan. The ancestor of the Xiao clan was named Xiao Yao. The reason why the Xiao family is considered one of the best ethnic groups in Dezhou is all because of this ancestor of the Xiao family. Without this ancestor, the Xiao family would not be so prosperous. Imagine how terrifying his strength is. But this ancestor has not been seen by anyone for more than 500 years, and no one knows where he went to practice. Nowadays, among the Xiao clan, Xiao Li is the eldest, the second elder, and his status is especially above Xiao Long, and everything in the clan is determined by him. Xiao Yan didn't postpone it, so he walked to the nearest place and sat down. Xiao Long approached Xiao Li and whispered something in Xiao Li's ear. Xiao Li frowned immediately and recovered immediately. Xiao Long turned around and sat on Xiao Li's right. "Xiao Yan, as the master of the Xiao clan, on behalf of the Xiao clan, I welcome you to the Duty Continent." The old man smiled. "Thank you, ancestors." Xiao Yan hurriedly returned the salute. The old man immediately asked in a deep voice, "You should know that you have the Chaos Saint Yan in your body, right?" Xiao Yan nodded, and on the way to the Xiao clan, Xiao Long told him something about the situation. All the elders in the hall heard the words Chaos Saint Yan, and suddenly there was a strange heat in their eyes. Chaos Saint Yan? The elders all looked at each other, with different expressions in their eyes, and everyone stared at Xiao Yan. Xiao Li suddenly stood up and said to the elders, "Let's disperse first. Junior Xiao Yan and I still have something to do." Everyone understood that it must be related to Xiao Yan's Chaos Saint Yan, including Xiao Long. All stood up and respectfully replied yes. They retreated one after another. Only Xiao Yan and Xiao Li were left in the hall. Xiao Li walked up to Xiao Yan and said softly, "Junior Xiao Yan, do you know the situation of Chaos Sheng Yan in your body?" Xiao Yan nodded and said, "The ancestor Xiao Long had already told the juniors a little bit just now. but the juniors still didn't understand the core information of Chaos Xingyan. Xiao nodded, smiled, and said, "This Chaos Saint Yin does have many secrets. Now that you are its owner, you should also know some things about this Chaos Saint Yin." As he spoke, Xiao waved his hand, and a beam of light shot from his fingers to the center of Xiao Yan's eyebrows. The scene of the betrayal of an elder of the Xiao clan thousands of years ago suddenly appeared in Xiao Yan's mind. At that time, this elder was the owner of Chaos Saint Yin. This person was extremely ambitious and tried to annex the entire Xiao clan. However, the strength of the elders was not vegetarian, so the two sides began a large-scale battle. The fierce battle was fierce. In the end, the Chaos Saint Yin fled to the Vindictive Continent because of a space passage opened by several elders. It is impossible to know why the Chaos Saint Yin will be divided into the different fires mentioned on the various Vindictive Continents. But because the Chaos Saint Yin does not have the support of the Emperor's source Qi, its power gradually weakens. However, after reaching the Fighting Emperor continent, these different fires are a bit ready to move, but they're all suppressed by the number one Emperor Yin. After all, Xiao Yan has been inherited by the most powerful Emperor Yin and naturally has the ability to control. Chaos Xingyan will continue to strengthen its own abilities after absorbing the source of the Emperor's Qi in the Duty continent. And when it grows to a certain stage, it will allow the owner to acquire a very powerful Tianhua ability. Chaos Saint Yin, the heavenly fire, is extremely famous in the Duty continent. In ancient times, Chaos Saint Yin ranked 18th in the heavenly fire rankings of the Duty continent, which is quite terrifying. Existence. The Xiao clan has a total of 3 heavenly fires, and this achievement is already very good in the Dezhou family. These Tianhua are coveted by the surrounding forces, but the Xiao clan is always an ancient clan, with some clan protection formations passed down by their ancestors, not that the forces of the Xiao family can easily break through. This is why they dare not act rashly, and Chaos Yin is the most powerful Tianhua among the Xiao clan. Information about Chaos Yin kept pouring into Xiao Yan's mind. After reading all this, Xiao Yan felt very emotional in his heart. It seemed that the Xiao clan's biggest enemy before was the strange fire in his body. Xiao Yan slowly opened his eyes. He never thought that all the strange fires he had finally collected in the Vindictive Continent were actually a heavenly fire on the Duty Continent. If all the strange fires in his body merged into this so-called Chaos Sage, how terrifying would it be? Xiao smiled and said immediately, "Well, now you know almost everything. As for the Chaos Sage in your body, you have to dig it yourself. At most, I can only give you a guiding role. Now let me take you to a place to see something. You should be very familiar with it." Xiao Yan was taken aback and then nodded. "This place is here. There seems to be nothing familiar to him. Whatever, just follow." The two walked out of the hall and flew at a slightly slow speed. Xiao was playing with 2 small balls in his hands, but the small balls exuded a strange aura. Xiao turned his head and said, "Junior Xiao Yan, look far away. Have you ever seen that thing?" Xiao Yan looked in the direction pointed by Xiao Li and was immediately taken aback. Not far away, a golden pagoda was suspended in the sky. Xiao Yan widened his eyes and said in surprise, Isn't this the sky-burning gas refining tower? How could it be here?" Xiao smiled and said quietly, "Yusina brought this tower up." As he spoke, Xiao Yan's figure had already come to the front of the Qi refining tower. Is there still spirituality in this tower? Xiao Yan's heart trembled. Thinking back, could it be that the fallen heart flame left behind at that time was transformed? It can be said that it was the young falling heart inflammation that year, but I didn't feel the breath of falling heart inflammation. At this time, Xiao Yan was a little confused, and even he didn't figure out what was going on with the sudden golden pagoda in front of him. Xiao Yan watched the tower carefully. From the appearance, it was indeed the heavenly burning Qi refining tower in Canaan College. It was exactly the same. Xiao Yan stepped forward again and gently put his hand on the tower. When Xiao Yan's hand touched the tower body slightly, suddenly, the light of the big tower in front of him shook and shrank at an extremely fast speed. In an instant, A behemoth had become the size of a palm, slowly floating in front of Xiao Yan. Xiao Li, who was standing behind Xiao Yan, was also a little surprised, but he still played with the two small balls with a very aura in his hands with both hands. Xiao Yan looked at the small tower suspended in front of him and slowly held the small tower in his hand, his heart suddenly excited. The moment this thing was held in his hand, a powerful breath made Xiao Yan's heart tremble. This tower is by no means an ordinary thing, and it was able to shrink and carry it with him, which surprised Xiao Yan. In addition to excitement and surprise, Xiao Yan couldn't help but wonder in his heart, is this tower the heavenly burning gas refining tower in Canaan College? If so, how did it come to this duty continent? If not, what is it? How could it be exactly the same as the heavenly burning gas refining tower in Canaan College? And it will shrink to the size of a palm by itself. What is this tower? Xiao Li immediately asked Xiao Li. Xiao Li was speechless. This tower and Xiao Yan came to the duty continent at the same time, and they came directly to the Xiao clan. When they appeared, everyone in the clan was a little surprised. Because they're all from the vindictive mainland, they still carry the breath of Xiao Yan. When they appeared, the people in the clan were a little surprised because Xiao Yan was coming, and this tower suddenly appeared here at the same time. So, Xiao Li also thought that this thing followed Xiao Yan up. Xiao Yan shook his head helplessly. This tower seemed to be the Tianyin refining tower, but the breath emanating from the tower was not owned by the Tianyin refining tower, which made Xiao Yan look puzzled. Xiao Li smiled and said, "Don't be confused. This tower seems to be destined for you. You can take it back and study it slowly. You may still be a little uncomfortable when you first came to this strange world, so go back and rest first." Xiao Yan nodded, put the tower away, and then suddenly remembered something.